morning, my dear students. In the previous class, we have seen an introduction about the endocrine system, and a list of endocrine glands was also mentioned there in the previous video. Today, let us see about the endocrine glands and their hormones one by one. I have told that the endocrine system is comprised of various endocrine glands and their hormones, and all the activities of all these, or the secretions of all these endocrine glands, are controlled by a hypothalamo-hypophyseal axis, and the interaction between the hypothalamus and the hypophysis and the target endocrine glands, that is actually functioning or regulating the secretion of hormones. That is, this slide is about hypothalamo-hypophyseal axis. The hypothalamus and the pituitary, they are connected by neural and vascular links. They are connected by neurons as well as the blood capillaries, and they function together as a hypothalamo-hypophyseal axis. And this axis coordinates the interaction between the brain and the endocrine system. And the secretion of any hormone is controlled, is actually regulated by the hypothalamo-hypophyseal axis, and this involves the interaction of three hormones. First among the series is the hypothalamic hormone, and these hormones secreted by the hypothalamus, they are called releasing hormones. And these releasing hormones, they act on the anterior pituitary gland and stimulate the anterior pituitary gland to secrete their hormones. And the hormones which are secreted by the anterior pituitary gland, this will go to the target endocrine gland and make its effect. It will cause the target endocrine gland to secrete its own hormone. And this hormone that is secreted at the end of the series brings about the final effect. Here in this picture, you can see the hypothalamus is secreting the hormone CRH. It is a releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone, and this hormone is acting on the anterior pituitary gland. And the plus sign shows that it is stimulating the anterior pituitary gland, and the anterior pituitary gland is secreting its hormone, that is ACTH. It is adrenocorticotropic hormone, and this adrenocorticotropic hormone, or the ACTH, is going to the adrenal gland, which is distantly located, and it is acting on the adrenal gland. It is stimulating the adrenal cortex to secrete the hormone cortisol, and this cortisol hormone is producing its metabolic effects. And when these metabolic effects are raised to the required level, then stress is caused and a negative feedback is given to the hypothalamus. Then the hypothalamus will reduce its secretion of CRH. And CRH, when the amount of CRH in the blood is low, then the anterior pituitary gland will also slow down its secretion of ACTH. In that way, it is regulated. So that is hypothalamo-hypophyseal axis. So the first hormone in the series is the releasing hormone, which is produced by the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamic hormone is acting on the anterior pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland will produce another hormone. It will go to the target endocrine gland, and the target endocrine gland will produce its hormonal secretion. And this hormone will produce the metabolic effects or the physiological effects in the tissues. Then, coming to the hormones of the hypothalamus, hypothalamus is actually functioning like an interface between the nervous system and the endocrine system. And the major role of hypothalamus as far as the endocrine system is concerned is to control the secretions of pituitary gland. Hypothalamus produces two groups of hormones. First group of hormones have their effect on the anterior pituitary gland, and these hormones are called releasing hormones. And the second group of hormones, they are actually secreted by the neuroendocrine cells which are located in the hypothalamus, and they are carried to the posterior pituitary gland and stored there until when it is required for release. And these hormones include the vasopressin and oxytocin. The hypothalamic releasing hormones are secreted by the hypothalamus into the blood capillaries. So the brain is richly supplied with blood capillaries, and the blood capillaries that are passing through the hypothalamus will receive these hypothalamic releasing hormones secreted by the hypothalamic cells. And this these releasing hormones are carried by the blood to the anterior pituitary gland. This anterior pituitary gland is otherwise called adenohypophysis. And these releasing hormones will control the secretions of the anterior pituitary gland. There are different releasing hormones secreted by the hypothalamus, and the names of these releasing hormones are based on the hormones of the anterior pituitary gland that they influence. For example, corticotropin releasing hormone CRH, it is secreted by the hypothalamus and it controls the secretion of adrenocorticotropin by the anterior pituitary gland. Then gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH, it is also another releasing hormone produced by the hypothalamus and it controls the secretion of gonadotropins by the anterior pituitary gland. Then releasing hormones and their anterior pituitary hormones. The hypothalamus is producing different releasing hormones. First one is thyrotropin releasing hormone TRH. It is having its effect on the anterior pituitary gland and it controls the secretion of TSH or the thyroid stimulating hormone by the anterior pituitary gland. Then growth hormone releasing hormone GHRH produced by the hypothalamus controls the secretion of growth hormone GH by the anterior pituitary gland. Then corticotropin releasing hormone CRH, I have told about this in the previous slide. This releasing hormone is controlling the secretion of ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone by the anterior pituitary gland. Then gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH, that is secreted by the hypothalamus and it is controlling the secretion of gonadotropins by the anterior pituitary gland. So this slide shows the different hormones which are secreted by the hypothalamus and the corresponding anterior pituitary hormones that they influence. Then coming to the hormones which are secreted, the hypothalamic hormones, the second group of hypothalamic hormones which are secreted by the neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus and they are stored in the posterior hypophysis or the posterior pituitary gland. Here you can see the neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus, they are having the cell bodies in the hypothalamus and they have long axons and the axons terminate in the posterior pituitary gland. The hormones are actually synthesized in the cell bodies and they are packed in vesicles and these vesicles are transported through the axons and they are carried to the axon terminals located in the posterior pituitary gland. And these vesicles containing the hormones are stored in these axon terminals in the posterior pituitary gland and they are released into the blood only when there is an action potential. And these hormones include the vasopressin or the ADH and oxytocin. Vasopressin, it is called antidiuretic hormone ADH. It is a small peptide hormone and it is the hormone that is concerned with the reabsorption of water by the kidney tubules. So it promotes the reabsorption of water by the kidney tubules and that is why it is called antidiuretic hormone. And it is also having vasoconstrictive effect on the blood vessels. It will cause the constriction of the blood vessels or the wall of the arteries and this causes the elevation of blood pressure. That is why it is called vasopressin. And if there is an oversecretion of vasopressin, it will cause excess reabsorption of water from the kidney by the kidney tubules, and this will cause excessive retention of water in the body, and this causes dilution of body fluids, and the urine that is produced by the kidneys will be highly concentrated and of very small quantity. And the deficiency of vasopressin causes a disease condition which is called diabetes insipidus because if the vasopressin is not secreted up to the required amount, then there will be reduced reabsorption of water by the kidney tubules and there will be excessive water loss through urine. Then the second hormone that is secreted by the hypothalamus and stored in the posterior pituitary gland, that is the oxytocin. It is also a small peptide hormone and it is having a stimulatory effect on the walls of the uterus. It causes rhythmic contraction of the uterine wall during childbirth or parturition. Hence, it is also called parturition hormone or childbirth hormone. So, it is a very important hormone which is essential for childbirth or the delivery of the child. Then it also stimulates the ejection of milk from the mammary glands. Then coming to the hormones of the pituitary gland or the hypophyseal hormones. The pituitary gland is also called hypophysis and it is composed of two lobes. Here you can see the two lobes of the pituitary gland. The first lobe is the anterior lobe or the anterior pituitary gland. It is also called adenohypophysis, and the second lobe is the posterior pituitary gland or the neurohypophysis. And these two lobes, they are connected to the hypothalamus by a stalk. The anterior hypophysis communicates with the hypothalamus through a system of blood vessels. In this picture, you can see the red colored blood vessels which are connecting the anterior pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. And the hormones which are secreted by the hypothalamus are carried by the blood to the anterior pituitary gland, and in response to these hormones, the anterior pituitary gland will be producing its own hormones. So the hormones secreted by the hypothalamus here in this case are the releasing hormones. Then the posterior pituitary gland is connected to the hypothalamus by means of the axons of the neurosecretory cells. The yellow colored fibers you can see here are the axons of the neurosecretory cells. The cell bodies of these neurosecretory cells are located in the hypothalamus and the axons are terminating in the posterior hypophysis. These are the hormones secreted by the adenohypophysis. We will be seeing about all these hormones one by one. The hormones of the adenohypophysis, the first among them is the growth hormone, that is GH or somatotropic hormone. It is actually, as the name indicates, it promotes the growth of individuals, and it is done by accelerating protein synthesis and cell division. You know that for growth, the cells has to divide and the number of cells in the body has to increase, and for cell division, new proteins are to be synthesized. So growth hormone is accelerating protein synthesis and cell division. And when proteins are to be synthesized, it requires the presence of amino acids. It requires the supply of amino acids. So growth hormone promotes the cellular uptake of amino acids, and it promotes the utilization of fatty acids as energy source. For the body functioning, we require energy, and growth hormone promotes the utilization of fatty acids and as energy source, and it is diverting the amino acids towards the protein synthesis and cell division. And the secretion of growth hormone, you know that growth is very high during the childhood stage, and correspondingly the secretion of growth hormone is also high during the growing stage, and gradually it declines in the adulthood. But in adulthood, growth hormone continues to be secreted in small amounts because there can be injury, and for tissue repair the new cells are to be produced by cell division. So this requires growth. So some amount of growth hormone continues to produce even during adulthood, and this is for tissue repair. And the secretion of growth hormone is controlled by the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, that is the growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH. And if during childhood if there is deficiency of growth hormone, then it can result in a condition called dwarfism. And overproduction of growth hormone during childhood causes a condition called gigantism, and oversecretion of growth hormone during adulthood results in a condition called acromegaly. We will see about all the symptoms of these diseases in another class. Next is the thyroid stimulating hormone, that is TSH or thyrotropin. It is a glycoprotein hormone, and the function of thyroid stimulating hormone is to act upon the thyroid gland and cause the secretion of the hormone thyroxine. And the secretion of TSH or the thyroid stimulating hormone is controlled by the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, that is thyrotropin releasing hormone or TRH. Then the next hormone is adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. It is also a peptide hormone, and the function of ACTH is to control the synthesis and release of hormones from the adrenal cortex. And the hormone secretion of ACTH is controlled by the hypothalamic hormone CRH, that is corticotropin releasing hormone. Then the next group of hormones secreted by the adenohypophysis is the gonadotropins. Gonadotropins, they are called so because they control the development and growth and development of gonads. And there are three types of gonadotropins. The first one is FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. And the function of the follicle stimulating hormone or FSH is to stimulate the development of graphene follicles in the ovaries of female. So, in the female, these follicle stimulating hormones, they act upon the ovaries and they stimulate the development of ovarian follicles or the graphene follicles. And in the corresponding to that, in the male, the FSH is having its effect on the male gonads, that is the testis, and it causes the proliferation of germinal epithelium. And germinal epithelium of testis, which is actually developing into the sperm. Then the next second group of hormone, the second hormone secreted by the adenohypophysis is the luteinizing hormone, LH. In female, it is called luteinizing hormone or LH, and the same hormone, when it comes to the male, it is called ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. And the function of this LH as well as SH is to stimulate the secretion of sex hormones. That is, in female, the luteinizing hormone is stimulating the production of ovum or the release of ovum from the ovarian follicles, and the process is called ovulation. And it is also stimulating the production of estrogen and progesterone from the ovary. And the proper functioning of corpus luteum in females, that is also because of the LH or the luteinizing hormone. You know that corpus luteum is an endocrine gland which is present in the ovaries of the female, and which is produced as after ovulation, which is formed after ovulation. Corpus luteum is formed after ovulation, and it is producing the hormone progesterone. And the functioning of corpus luteum is controlled by the luteinizing hormone. So in female, the luteinizing hormone, the function of luteinizing hormone is to stimulate the release of ovum from the ovary, which is called ovulation, then to stimulate the production of female sex hormones estrogen and progesterone, and this progesterone is produced by the endocrine gland called corpus luteum present in the ovary of the females, and the functioning of the corpus luteum is controlled by luteinizing hormone. In males, the hormone is called ICSH or the interstitial cell stimulating hormone, and it stimulates the secretion of male sex hormone, which is called testosterone. Then the next third gonadotropin produced by the anterior pituitary gland is the luteotropic hormone or LTH or prolactin. And this hormone is functional only in females because it is associated with lactation, and lactation is a property of that is restricted to females, and hence this hormone prolactin is functional only in females, and it promotes the growth of mammary glands during pregnancy. Then after pregnancy or after childbirth, the initiation of milk secretion and the maintenance of milk secretion is done by the hormone prolactin. And the secretion of prolactin is controlled by another releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, which is called prolactin releasing hormone. Then the last hormone that is produced by the adenohypophysis is the melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH, and this hormone is not found in man, and it is present only in lower vertebrates like fishes and amphibians, and it is involved in physiological color change. You know that there are animal species which can change their skin color based on the color of the surrounding environment, and this color as well as there are organisms which can change its color depending upon the developmental stages or the breeding characteristics they have the ability to change their body color, and this is because of the presence of the melanocyte stimulating hormone. So the physiological color change of the body is controlled by melanocyte stimulating hormone, and this hormone is functional only in lower vertebrates and not in man. Then so this is about the adenohypophyseal hormones. We have talked about growth hormone, then thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH, then adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH, then gonadotropins which include three hormones: FSH or the follicle stimulating hormone, then luteinizing hormone or LH, corresponding to the corresponding hormone in the male is called ICSH or the interstitial cell stimulating hormone, and the third gonadotropin is prolactin or luteotropic hormone, and the last adenohypophyseal hormone is melanocyte stimulating hormone or MSH. Now let us see about the hormones of the neurohypophysis. The neurohypophysis is releasing two hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin. I have already told you have to clearly understand that neurohypophysis is not actually secreting any hormone of its own. It is actually storing the hormones which are actually synthesized by the neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus. I have told about this earlier. The neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus, they are having the cell bodies in the hypothalamus, and in the cell bodies the hormones are synthesized. They are packed in small vesicles, and these vesicles, hormone packed vesicles, are transported through the axons. You can see the yellow colored fibers called axons which are passing from the hypothalamus to the posterior pituitary gland, and the axon terminals are located in the posterior pituitary gland, and this axon terminal contains the vesicles packed with the hormones vasopressin and oxytocin. And whenever there is an action potential, and when the action potential reaches the axon terminals, the hormones will be released from the axon terminals into the blood, and the blood will carry these hormones to the various target organs. It can be, in the case of vasopressin, the target organ can be the kidney tubules and also the blood vessels. Then oxytocin is having its effect on the uterine wall, and it is also having its effect on the mammary gland. I have talked about the functions of the vasopressin and oxytocin in the previous video. So that is about the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. That is the adenohypophyseal hormones as well as the neurohypophyseal hormones. Thank you.